Hi, we're Quaint and Curious Volumes. My name is James. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about Henrik Ibsen's play Hedda Gabler. This is part of my ongoing unasked for booktube series called Gabe-pril, the month of April in which we read books with gables in the title. So far, we have read The House of the Seven Gables, and this week we're reading Ibsen's play Hedda Gabler. I know, it's not pronounced right, and it's not even about gables. And the character isn't even really called Hedda Gabler. She's Hedda Tessman because she has just returned from her honeymoon with the academic Jorgen Tessman. So she is introduced in the play as Hedda Tessman. What are you going to do? I was not really, I've said before, I had read A Doll's House in high school, remembered nothing of it. So I got this collection of 4 Ibsen plays: A Doll's House, Ghosts, Hedda Gabler, and The Master Builder. I read through each of them, and boy, these really read very, very well. They read almost like novels. They have very detailed kind of scene descriptions and character descriptions. There's not a ton of action in them. I think Hedda Gabler has the most action, and uh, they're for things that are from the late 19th century, they read very modern. It could partly be the translation, which is James McFarlane and Jens Arup. I don't know, but they read really quick and really exciting. So I was a bit. I had some trepidation in deciding that I was going to read Ibsen because I think I thought he would be more sort of austere and more sort of dour, and I guess it is dour, but it's exciting reading. If you've read the great plays of Chekhov, there's some kind of similarity in this. It's they're domestic dramas. They're people trying to control each other, trying to understand each other, trying to be themselves, and all the ways that they try and fail. I would say that A Doll's House is really, it seems to be, to me, I'm not a big theater guy, but to be the template for so much modern theater, so much that of what I have seen in modern drama sounds like kind of redone A Doll's House. So that's just me, just my little aperçu. Now I'm going to talk about Hedda Gabler. So this is the story of a woman who is returning from her honeymoon with her new husband, Jorgen Tessman, who is an academic. He's just gotten his doctorate degree. And Hedda is an aristocratic woman. She's the daughter of a general. She's used to having everything provided for her. She's beautiful. Everyone loves her. She's also a bit cold and bored with everything. This is a character who seems to be on a completely different level from all the other characters. And this is kind of a glib comparison. But if you've seen the British TV show Fleabag, where the character is talking to people, but she's also saying things that the audience is understanding in a way that the characters she's talking to do not. It doesn't get as kind of schlocky where she's addressing the audience directly, like happens in Fleabag, but it's something like that. And this is also similar to that character. There's kind of a disdain for everyone around her. She's talking to people and they're reacting to her, but they're not getting what she's saying. And it's probably for her a good thing because what she's often saying, not in so many words, is "I am better than you. You bore me, and you are a plaything for me." Hedda Gabler at one point expresses the desire to have control over the fate of another. Now, in the context of some of these other plays of Ibsen's, that can be read as, her resistance to society. In a doll's house, the woman who is married to a professional man, she just wants to have some autonomy. Her husband controls even what she eats. Hedda Gabler, no one is telling her really what to do, but she is just so bored by the situation that she's in, and she's gotten married to this man that she has really no interest in. There's this quote where she's talking to this other fellow, Brack, who seems like he's kind of in love with her, but he is also terrified of her. And she's describing her husband to him. She says, "Tessman is an academic, my dear sir." And Brock says, "Undeniably. And academics aren't a bit amusing as traveling companions. Not in the long run, anyway." Brack says, "Not even the academic with whom one happens to be in love?" Ugh, don't use that glutinous word. And Brack says, "What's this?" So, so Hedda disdains everything. When she's talking about why she married this glutinous academic, she thinks that he'd be an outstanding man, and when he came along and was so pathetically eager to be allowed to support me, I don't really see why I shouldn't let him. Like, this is how she decided to whom to get married. So, a bit about Tess. There is a line that probably every bookish person will enjoy from very early in this. Tessman is talking to his aunt, Miss Tessman, and they've moved into a large house, which was not theirs before they left on their honeymoon. This is probably a bigger house than Tessman can actually afford as an academic, but he needs to keep Hedda happy because she is used to big houses. Anyway, he's looking around this large house and he's saying, "There's just one thing. I don't quite know what we're going to do about those two empty rooms, between the back room there and Hedda's bedroom." And Miss Tessman, his aunt, says, "Ah, my dear Jürgen, you'll find a use for them when the time comes." And Tessman says, "Why, yes, Aunt Julie. You've got something there. As I gradually add to my collection of books, then, eh?" Just precisely, my dear. I was thinking of your books, of course. She was not. So, and it seems that, and it's kind of subtly hinted at, that Hedda is actually pregnant as this story is taking place. So, in the way of modern drama, they're not just returning from their trip, but other people are arriving in town at the same time, including a woman who was at one point the sweetheart of Tessman, and she has been married for some years to an older man who lives up north. And these people have hired. Boy, there's a lot of weird coincidences here. But this woman. Let me get her name right. Mrs. Elvsted. Yeah. So Mrs. Elvsted was at one time the sweetheart of Jürgen Tessman, but she's married to Mr. Elvsted, who's I think a judge or something, and they live up north, and they have children, and Mrs. Elvsted does not really have much of a relationship with Mr. Elvsted, who is self-involved and doesn't care for anyone but his profession. And they've hired someone, Lovborg, to be the tutor to their children. So Lovborg is an old rival of Tessman. Lovborg is also an old lover of Hedda Gabler's. Lovborg has also run off from the town where he was teaching the children of Mrs. Elvsted rather, and has been on a bit of a bender. So he has trouble with drink, but he's also brilliant. So Tessman, they work in the same academic field. They study the same things. But Lovborg is seems implied that he is more brilliant. He has more natural talent, but he's also troubled and an alcoholic. And so he's been keeping himself clean up north, working as the tutor, and now he's run off and is probably getting drunk and chasing after this redheaded actress who he used to be in a relationship with. Um, so I don't want to kind of relate the entirety of the plot, but at the end of Act One, um, Hedda is alone with her husband Tesman, and she is expressing her utter boredom and disdain for everyone. And she says, "Well, at least I have one thing to occupy me." And he says, "What's that?" And she says, "My father's pistols." So she has a couple of guns, and she walks out of the room. He's like, "Don't mess with those guns; they're dangerous." End of Act One. Yeah. So at the beginning of the next one, the character of Brock, this weird, kind of loose character, he wanders into the garden, and Hedda like shoots at him, just literally shoots at him, and says, "I'm going to shoot you." She shoots at him. She misses, probably on purpose, but she's just messing with people just because she's bored and she can. She wants control over the fate of another. Um, does she get control over the fate of another? Well, this is not going to be a big spoilery kind of a video, but do all these kind of threads come together? Loveboard, does he show up at the house? Does Tesman and Mrs. Elvsted, do they rekindle their interest in each other? Do these guns actually go off? Does Hedda get control over the life of another? Yes, she does. And she encourages this other to do something beautiful, and she gives him the tool to do it, which is one of the guns. She has two. This play, it's a quick read. It's very modern. It's brutal, and I recommend this. This is a crazy read. How does it now? Some of my commenters who read this a lot quicker than I did were saying that there were some parallels, some comparisons that could be made to the House of the Seven Gables. If you see anything like that, if you've been following along, let me know. Have you read this play? Do you like Ibsen? I've discovered that I like Ibsen. I'm going to read some more Ibsen because he's not a austere and dour Nordic writer. I guess he is that, but maybe I like that. Also, James Joyce was a big fan of Ibsen. I wonder why. Maybe there's some similarity to these characters and those in Dubliners. But these plays are just so kind of lean and efficient and, well, not the Master Builder. Maybe I missed something in the Master Builder because it seemed kind of flabby and predictable and stupid. But Ghosts, A Doll's House, Hedda Gabler, these were fantastic reads. So I'm going to be reading some more Ibsen. Do you like Ibsen? Do you like Hedda Gabler? Do people do such things? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.